things ain't happening.
For there is a wind of change, it blowing through the Spice Island.
Listen to the people, Mr. PM. Don't play with the Canadian people, cause the win is turning around. That's all. Like all you did, only plan how to win. And after that, all you can do are thing. At all, poor people balling, they can't eat a meal. So what? It's like all you deaf and can't hear that still. Still waiting for one project to take off. Like it's done in as them how them could start. But prepare yourself and bang your belly, cause the wind turn around heading back for we. So I said the wind of change is blowing in the next direction. Man, the wind of change is blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the streets. We want kids, we want kids. Man, they say they're tired, they can't take it. We want kids, we want kids. Man, the country balling it's sick. We want kids, we want kids. So they need a doctor to come fix it. We want kids, we want kids. Hear the young men out on the block. Man, they say they're tired of the old talk. Listen to them. Every day is blah, 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 blah. That alone. And they can't see action to back it up. Oh, Lord. Woo! I say be careful, the wind turning around. Be careful. Woo! PM like the whole country on a halt. Like your cabinet brain lock in a vault. It looks so. Teachers pondering on what they go do. The pushing program, all you cut that too. Poor people, sir. 600 million as they say you have. Why you still leaving poor people to starve? No talk about corruption anymore. Don't fool of yourself, cause the people know. They know, they know. So I said the wind of change is blowing in the next direction. Man, the wind of change is blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the streets. We want kids, we want kids. Man, they say they're tired, they can't take it. We want kids, we want kids. All you know, all you lie and cheat. We want kids, we want kids. But payback is a son of a hold. We want kids, we want kids. Hear the young ladies in the tongue. Listen to them. And they say they're tired of run around. Listen to them. Still waiting for some good to come. Where is it? They're waiting still. Them and their children born in the sun. Oh Lord, Lord. Be careful, sir. Don't play with the Canadian people. The wind turn around. Woo. Open your eyes, sir. Listen to us, sir. We healthcare system, well, that's in array. No talk, no medication, so them nurses say. Be careful, sir. Unemployment, well, that gone up sky high. Too high, too high. CCC coming back, that was a lie. Big lie, big lie. Plenty people now, they living like bad. Friend to see a meet a man when he pass. They say they can't wait for another year. Keep playing your deaf and all you can't hear. Listen, but I said the wind of change is blowing in the next direction. Man, the wind of change is blowing back where he came from. Hear the people out on the streets. We want kids, we want kids. Man, they say they're tired, they can't take it. We want kids, we want kids. Man, the country drowning in play. We want kids, we want kids. They will never make that mistake again. We want kids, we want kids. Hear the old people, them at home. Me granny, they say right now they feel so alone. Don't leave them outside. They thought better was coming to them. What happened to the pension? But it's like they end up with more problems, more problems, problems. Listen to the voice of the people. Listen to the voice of the people. Listen, sir. The wind turn around, sir. Don't play with the Grenadian people. Don't.
We want kids, we want kids. We want kids, we want kids. We want kids, we want kids. We want kids, we want kids.
stopping the progress, and you're blocking the progress. Let go the progress. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress. Let go the progress. So no matter what they say, NNP is here to stay. NNP on a mission, shining bright like a beacon. Man, the whole wide world could see what they do for the country. So many development, our money is well spent. So despite all the old talk, man, we solid as a rock. Let us keep on moving on for the sake of the nation. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. Progress, 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 progress. If you're holding the progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. Move, move, let the progress continue. I said move. NNP, you are the best. You are better than the rest. So my brother and sister, please don't look any further. When you see it's time to vote, everybody should take note. No if, no but, no maybe. Give your X to NNP. It don't matter where you are, we should all come together. Let us look to the future for the sake of Grenada. So if you're holding back progress, and if you're blocking the progress, and if you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, yo! Progress, 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 progress. So if you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, yo, let go the progress. Let go the progress. Let the progress flow. Let it go. 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 So my people join with me and stand up for NNP. Just remember to be strong. Join with me and sing the song. So despite all the old talk, man, we solid as a rock. Let us keep on pressing on for the sake of the nation. So if you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. Progress, 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 progress. If you're holding back progress, and you're blocking the progress, and you're stopping the progress, let go the progress. If you're holding the progress.
NMP, St. George's to St. Andrews, St. Patrick's to St. David. Ah.
Don't stop it.
St. George is to St. Andrews, St. Patrick's to St. David. Yes. Chantimel to Mount Craven, l'amour de Saint-Marc. We're on the road, NMP on the road, NMP guide us, we're on the road, go tell our enemies, NMP on the road, NMP guide us, we on the road, yeah. NMP guide us, be our guidance, make intercession for us.
And good evening to you, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, those of you listening locally, regionally, internationally. Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now only 3 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock on the beautiful Spice Island of Grenada. And of course, our sister islands of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
On the road, NMP guide us, we on the road, yeah. Look at everything they try.
So let me see, I say a special good night to you, Listra Abraham, Carl Jones, Gillian Coban, Kathleen Ledlow, Beavis John, Hillary Joseph, yes, yeah, Phyllis Mitchell, Gemma Warwood, Cynthia Bartholomew, Deborah Laborde, good night to you, Wilfred Antoine, Maria Noel, Jacinta Livingston, good night to you, Livingston, Alan Jones, Anne Marie Celestine Grant, and let me see the Matthew Bowen. Good night to you, bro. Agnes Henry, Veronica Nimrod, Gavin Thomas. And let me see. Did I mention Gloria Francois? Gloria Francois, good night to you. Alban Harris, Errol Bonaparte, Dave Felix, Angie, good night to you. Deborah Laborde, Dennis Bain. Kishma, good night. Veronica Lewis, Baby Daddy, Alcy Peters, good night to you. Maria Marcel. And I'm seeing Alan George, Christine Otley. You know, I know you're always there, Christine. Hermina Batiste, Michelle Alexander, Bernadette Filbert, Devon Lane, Sandra Pascal, Adrian Watts, Henry Shaitan. Let me see, Kathleen Knights, Janice Mitchell, Faithlyn Hallie Douglas. Good night to you. Jenna Benjamin, Eliza Bernard, Sherma Jeremiah, you and the household. Good life, good night to you. April Fletcher, Anastasia Peterson, Kim Creedland, good night to you. I sort of lost my bearings there for a while. Yes, so Ann Andrews, Dominic Antoine, Marian James, Stephanie John, you and the whole home circle. Stephanie Simon, Fitzroy Philip, Joyce Philip, good night to you. And let me see who is over on the YouTube. No, let me see the Facebook. Yeah, I'm looking at the Facebook here. And last night, folks, it wasn't just our Facebook that went down. Facebook, the app itself, went down last night for a few minutes here. So it was nothing on our end or nothing that anybody did. It went down basically worldwide. They had a problem. So let me see. Good night here on the Facebook. Glenda Robertson, Jill Williams, Gillian Prescott, good night. Dennis Fabio. Let me see who else is there. Shemaine Ragba Singh, good night to you. Kishon McSween, Yvonne Courtney. Kish, good night to you. And Jill Toya Stephenson, good night. And let me see. Crystal Theodore, Claude Abraham, Dennis Fabrio, James Arnold, Natalie Charles, Tevin Simon, Gillian Prescott, Jocelyn Matheson, Bernadette Ramsey, good night. Kevin James, Edlin David. Let me see. Where's Sparkles? Yeah, Sparkles somewhere wrong, man. Right. Everard, good night to you. Maria, I.E. Fletcher, Angus George, Arlene Williams, Maudlin. Good night to you, Maudlin Bartholomew. Yeah, and you see, yeah, just lost the thing there again, you know. Yeah, Dennis Dolan Lead and Salandi, Marilyn Panchu. Yeah, good night to all of you. I sort of lost it there for a minute. No, not the app. I just mixed up the entire thing. All right. So we are on. Yeah, you know the thing go? Nice. Yeah, let me go back to the song for a little bit there. Nice.
We are everything they try, and every time they fail, they say we send
Oh
us.
gosh, watch. Afraid all of this talking points family, does talk about Yankers Nation and all these people. They know about talking points now. The number we called out last night, leave it here. You realize the person was able to get through later. They are having an issue with their phone, but they were not paying attention to what was going on the program. They were trying to call, so they were not hearing when I was saying, well, stop trying to call and so. So don't worry, it's one of us. It's okay. Don't call the number. Leave Mando, I'm a partner, I'm Mando. Leave Mando alone. All right, nice, because all this evening people still calling. All right, Alia, so we go ease up. Nice, good.
On the road, and them
Willan, good night, bro.
we on the road, yeah. Tell them.
And let me say good night to our listeners out there in Virginia, those of you out there in Maryland, those of you out there in Canada, Patricia and Matthew and Ian in particular, who are listening out there in Canada. I know if you all are not listening live, you all will listen later on. Saying a special good night to each and every one of you, and all listeners down there in North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas. Yes, we have some wonderful listeners out. I'm not sure what part of Texas. If you're all in Houston or some other part, the only part I've really spent time in is Houston. Yeah, see the space shuttle and all them there. I've spent a long time around there. So those of you listening in Texas, and we know there are lots of Grenadians. You might be surprised as the amount that are in different parts of Texas. Good night to you. Arizona, yeah, my good friends out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, who have been tuning in. Yeah, they're not even Grenadian. They've never been to the Caribbean. In one or two instances, they've never even left New Mexico. But they tune in religiously to listen to Talking Points. I'm saying a special good night to you all. Yeah, my good friend. Yeah, have a tequila on me. Those of you listening in California, a special good night to you all as well. Yeah?
According to the Bible, Jonah was a blessed man. So that simply means some fellas leading the people wrong. Leave Jonah alone like all you find the man they too long. When they sing, Jonah we taking home. What you mean? Jonah we taking home. One. Jonah.
Well, Toya, I see you're making a point there, and it's quite interesting, because I'm hearing about the revitalization of Wall Street, and I'm still looking to see what they're really talking about, Yeah, and that they've put plants and so on. Well, yeah, one or two plants and anything there, but the majority, the pumpkin patch, Pumpkinville, I think that is where Prince and them calling it, and Mosquito calling it Pumpkinville. Yeah, that's not Wall Street. From what we heard, the intention was to remove Wall Street from the present location and bring it down to that location. Yeah, that's what Minister Flowers wanted to do. Move it from the location it is to that new location. And then they found out the land was owned by a particular family. I think some sort of legal letter pass and all kind of thing. And then they had to back off on that one totally, from moving it from where it is to where they wanted to put it. So they plant up some flowers and different thing on property that is privately owned. Plant up some flowers and different thing on that property. Remember they had Bobcat moving thing. Because I'm trying to say, if you're beautifying Wall Street, when you're on what we know as Wall Street, where the food trucks are and the cane juice man and so is, you can't see where they put the flowers and so down the other end. And that's not Wall Street. Yeah? So what's really, have they repaved? I haven't been on Wall Street for a little while. I'm passing by. Have they paved the road properly now so you don't have the pothole and so on the Wall Street itself? Have they organized for the parking and organized with the vendors for the proper cleaning and so on? And maybe gone into a development plan of setting up booths and so on properly on Wall Street? Or is the revitalization of Wall Street just look for every little spot of dirt and say, well, we're sticking a palm tree there? Yeah? Come on, seriously. If you really want to tell us that you're doing something, do it in the proper way. All right? Nice. That you're doing something, that's good. Not saying it's bad that they're doing something. Don't get me wrong. It's good that they are doing something. But if you're doing something, do it in a proper manner. And at least stop trying to bamboozle us as though that is some major achievement. Yeah, Pumpkinville, that's what them fellas calling it. Right? Them fellas do easy, My Prince and them.
Well, Jonah was that messenger to warn the people of Nineveh. Leave Jonah alone. Leave Jonah alone in Grenada. Why you want to throw him over? You feel like he don't have honor. Leave Jonah alone. Leave Jonah alone in Grenada.
A good night to you, Dana Abraham.
How it go?
Mommy George, good night to you, my dear.
I can hear you. Jonah go take me home. One more time. Jonah go take me home. It's true. Jonah go take me home. Them matter. When I sit down to the pastor, he
I
must
say a special good night to you, Kathy Albert, and also Kathy Pope. I had to tell you two Kathys hello. So Kathy Albert and Kathy Pope. Good night to both of you. Nice.
see him warning the people of Grenada. If you want to use Jonah as reference, doc,
Andrea, good night to you.
that simply mean Grenada is run by a prophet. So then tell me how one or the big man go lose his seat. Then go on the 8th of July, the victory go sweet. Jonah, we take it home. How you mean? Jonah, we take it.
Just trying to make sure that I get to the number, my magic. Now, I don't find I've gotten to my... Oh, wait now, yeah. As I see that, I pass it.
Leave Jonah alone. Leave Jonah alone in Grenada. Leave Jonah alone in Grenada. Leave Jonah alone in Nineveh. Leave Jonah alone. Leave Jonah alone in Grenada. If you're calling this man Jonah, that means he do good.
You know, I again, the press conference that was held by the New National Party seems to have ruffled some feathers. Yeah, people claiming, you see the NDCI jumping under every news broadcast that has rebroadcast. They even jumped under the actual press conference itself. Yeah, they jumped under the actual press conference itself, trying to give, to distract and that sort of thing. But of course, as I continue to say, do not be distracted by those individuals. And by the way, the phone lines are open. You all can call at any point in time, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. So you can call at any point in time. Now, they were trying to distract from the entire conversation. Yeah? Now, I could name, if the Minister of Health does not know, if the Prime Minister or other members of his cabinet does not know what medications are lacking at the hospital, I could give them a list, you know. I could name them. Because I've spoken to the nurses. I've spoken to the doctors. I've spoken at some of the other medical facilities around the country. They have been giving me information as to what it is they are lacking. And in some instances, you're hearing from patients themselves who have gone, whether it's they gone for dressing and you don't have, it's pethidine, I think they call it. You don't have that to do the dressing and so on. Yeah? Or simple painkillers they don't have. Or they have to have their surgeries rescheduled. Recently, remember, I spoke of one individual who was made to go and do all the blood work and everything for a surgery. A major surgery. This individual has been having a constant problem. For the last 3 or 4 years, they've been having a constant problem. They can't even operate their business in the way that they would like to operate their business because they have been having that medical problem. Yeah, they were given a date for a surgery that ought to have been done, I believe it was last month. That surgery ought to have been done. They did all their blood work. It cost them over $2,000. And then when it came down now to go and do the actual surgery, they had to be rescheduled. Why? Because again, they don't have the medication that the anesthesiologist needs. That's the person to put you to sleep and so that they can do it. They don't have that. They don't have the painkillers. They don't have the antibiotics and so they had to reschedule that surgery. Now, who is going to refund the individual for the $2,000 plus that they had already spent to have their blood work and other tests done? Most of it in the private sector. Who is going to refund them for that money? Yeah? Because they're not getting it done in the public sector. And then, to add insult to injury, you don't give them a new date. So you don't say to the individual, well, here's what. We are unable to do it on this date, but we'll do it on that date for you. The tests that you have done will still be valid by that time. Maybe the tests are valid for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. We don't know. But you just don't give them, we'll call you when we set up a time. That's the response. And it's not one instance that I'm hearing this. It's several instances. Last night, we had a caller that called and gave their story in relation to something similar. Yeah? And I'm hearing, every time you go in town, somebody comes and they approach you and they give you their story, and some of them pull out documents, to prove what they're saying. So it's not just hearsay. It's not just people saying things out of the broadness of their mouth. This is what people are going through. So you don't have morphine, you don't have this, you don't have that. And then, even worse to learn last night now, from our caller who called in from New York, that there are medication, etc., sitting here in Grenada, and the Ministry of Health does not have the wherewithal to go and clear it. If all you want us to clear it, tell Talking Points, since all you're talking about it, we want all you go and clear it. And we'll go and clear it. Just give us the right away to go and clear it. We'll go and clear it. But we ain't going and clear nothing just so on behalf of the government of Grenada for all you to come and say we tried to thief it. No. We know all you, you know. We know all you. If all you can clear it, say to us. Talking Points family. No, don't say Sheldon. Say Talking Points family, because it's not me alone. It's everybody you see in the chat here. Yeah? It's everybody you see that's tuning in. And the thousands of others, not hundreds, you know. The thousands of others who are silent listeners. They listen. They may send me a private message, but you won't see them in the chat. You won't see them saying anything there. You won't see them, but I meet them on the buses. I meet them in the supermarket. I meet them walking the street. Yeah? I meet them all over. So there are thousands of others. If you want us to take the responsibility and clear it, we'll do it. Because it is for our country. So if you want us to take the responsibility and go and clear what has to be cleared in Compass, give us the okay, give us the documentation, and we will organize and get it out from there for you. If you don't know how to get expedited clearance on a container of essentials from the Port Authority, speak to us. We have connections to people that understand what can be done, what needs to be done, what has to be done, because we, on this end, understand the urgency of the medications that are sitting on the port and are needed within the health facility. Yeah? We understand the urgency. Maybe you all don't understand the urgency. So it's okay for a container to sit there for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And when people try to get medication, there's nothing there. Yeah? When they try to get gloves. And don't try to say we lying and all you have, all you don't have. All you need, just say all you need. We'll try and help. Yeah, and it's not the first time. The New National Party has done that before, you know. Because we have been in this position before under the last NDC administration. I was there when we went up to the General Hospital to bring supplies. Basic medications, we brought like painkillers and so on, as well as there was an issue in relation to the quality of the food that was being served to patients at that point in time, and we brought up food stuff and so. Yeah? So it's not the first time that the New National Party or the Talking Points family would be involved in something like this. Yeah? We often don't talk and say what we have done, but it wouldn't be the first time that we've been involved in something like this. So don't be embarrassed. If you all cannot handle it, if you know by Friday you cannot get those stuff out of there, speak to us. You all already tapped the phone, so you know how to find me. Yeah? Just break through a call or something. Just call us, let us know, and we will go and clear it for you all. All right? Nice. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Yeah. And folks, yeah, that's why we try to, we have our little donation thing. Once all they tell us, we won't tell everybody, they go donate. Whether it's a $5, it's a $10, it's a whatever, they will donate. All right? We'll make up and we'll go and clear it. Just let us know. All right? Nice. So 440-7377. And today, come on, Mr. Minister of Health. Stop ducking. Stop hiding. Yeah? We really need you to face the nation. In fact, you have the opportunity on a Wednesday. Don't send Terrence Forrester, because according to Mr. Rolo, me know what he's doing on GBN there, because he cannot be representing the government. And it's government time. So he cannot be representing the government. Yeah? So send Mr. Lacret. That's who we want to see. Yeah, we want to see Mr. Lacret. We want to ask him about medication. Because he did about 2 or 3 media appearances. He did one in relation to, it was the restart, or well, the same thing that was there before, the primary healthcare system. They said they're going to the community and all of that to restart that entire program. Then there was another media appearance he did not too long after that, And again, without the press being able to ask any questions and so. And then recently again, he did an interview with the GIS, which is the same as doing an interview with yourself. Yeah? It was like, that was interview fornication. Yeah, he was doing the interview to himself. I would have used another word, but children does listen to the program. Yeah. Nice. So we want to hear, because today you had electricity going at the main medical facility for the island, right? Electricity went for about, an hour, half hour to an hour, whatever, and no generators. Let me say that again. The generator ain't working. So if during that period of time, there happened to have been a surgery taking place, understand what that means. That there was no electricity at the hospital. So if somebody was under the knife at that point in time, and you had different equipment hooked up to that individual, you understand what we're talking about here? There was no generator to kick in. Tell me a lie, nah? Tell me a lie. Try. Tell me a lie. Because they've been able to say many things, but one thing they can't say is that we lie. Because today, at the main medical facility on the island, you had a situation where electricity went, no backup generator. Yeah? So don't come and try and say, oh, that existed since NNP time, or that existed since this or that or so. No, NNP used to try and make sure at least you had a generator working or so. Yeah? Yes, there were faults during the period at the time of the new National Party. But we're saying no. Because it could have been you, any of us, could have had an emergency surgery and been on the table at that point in time. And no backup. No backup. Yeah? That's not good enough. All right, folks? That's definitely not good enough. So I want to hear from you all. Give me a call. Wendy, I have some medication there, boys, to try and pronounce them name and shoot to a girl.
Look at change. I say, little shock, I can't understand. I am so disappointed in man. Man make me cry, tears run from my eye. And all I could ask is what's the reason why? Cause man fighting power, he fighting greed. Oh God, man making blunders for selfish need. Man gon' call your brother, but man so slack. Say man with a dagger, stabbing your back. I mesmerize, shocker still in dismay. Look how they treat me in the folk fair the other day. Chucky was thunder, Chucky was tough.
And I'm seeing here, and again, we still extend our condolences to our good brother Nimrod Oliver, and we're seeing that the celebration of life ceremony for his mom, that will be taking place on Monday, and the viewing is between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. service between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. It's at the Hebron Evangelical Church, and that's at 741 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. All right, so burial that will be taking place after at the St. George's, Grenada. You'll get some more information on that one, but the celebration of life ceremony, that's for Miss Marie Oliver. That will be taking place this Monday coming. And the viewing between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. and the service between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. So those of you in the New York State area, those of you that can make it down for that particular one, please do show your support for Brother Nimrod. He always shows his support for everybody else. All right? So that's going to be taking place at the Hebron Evangelical Church, 741 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, all you're going and represent me, you know. Yeah, all you represent the Talking Points family. All right, nice. 440-7377. As I said, that's the number for you to call and get on the inside.
Our Chucky was rough. All politicians respected this Calypsonian who always seemed to look out for the poor man. But since Daphne Philip brainwashed the brother and make Chucky director of culture, since he get big position, he start acting strange. It's amazing how people could change. As they get in power, their plans rearrange. It's amazing how people could change. You're bound to agree. It's lies we're running this whole country. Look at Jockey Boy right down like Bachi. Lies we're running this whole country.
And again, I was asked a question today in relation to the pronouncements that were made by the Prime Minister in relation to his involvement in the CBI program. And again, I still don't think that some people understand clearly what it is I have been saying from about a couple months now in relation to the Prime Minister and his direct involvement in the CBI program. Yeah? One, the Prime Minister at a point in time was the Minister of Finance, but also the Minister in charge of the CBI program. Right. He was also a CBI agent. Yeah? And he can't deny that he was his company because his name was up on the website. Yeah? So that leaves us no other explanation other than he, up to when it was taken off about 2 weeks ago, was a CBI agent. Even while it was up on the website, he was traveling on behalf of marketing agents here in Grenada on CBI business, not Grenada business, on CBI business. And then to make a statement such as Miss Andrea St. Bernard, or you can't consider her company to be a conflict of interest because she's not employed by the state. In fact, you know what? Let me get that for you. Let me just put on something here. Let me get that for you so we can play it and then I'll explain to you further.
Man does appear good, but man not nice. A man who used to fight to get criminals free. Today that same man preaching righteousness to we. Check most of the cases that Ramesh won. State witness, boom, boom. Guess what the case done? But Ramesh big like Tarzan now swinging on vine. Telling you execution in record time. Baka say he promised him the deed for the land. Soon as Baka helped him win election. But after election, Ramesh start moving strange. It's amazing how people can change. As they get in power, their plans to rearrange. It's amazing how people can change. You have to agree. Lies were running this whole country. Baka come with the tape. Ramesh Paul, not me. Lies were running this whole country.
All right, so I think I've got it queued up here now. And I want you all to listen carefully. Please, I want you all to listen carefully because I've been asked, before I go to that, let me take this call. I've been asked several questions in relation to this one today. So I want to play it for you, but I'll take a call here that I'm seeing coming through first. Let me take that call, and then I'll go on to that issue. We have a call online. Good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you,
All right.
We come to one conclusion now, When you look back at the NDC people now, they had just hated Dr. Keith Mitchell. They hated that man and they're jealous that man to the bone. Because they're in position now and they can't do nothing. They know they can't handle the country. But just to destroy that man, they wanted to be in his position. They're just jealous that man. And they hated that man. Instead of trying to be like he, but they could never be like him. Dr. Claudius Keith Mitchell is a God-sent man to handle this country. And I hope and trust by the next election that people will see the mistake that they make and correct it. Because these people and them, they're hungry, just like me. They're hungry, they're in a position, they don't have anything to back up to stand up on as ministers. They don't have that. I don't know why Grenadian couldn't see and understand why to vote these people in power. You don't know these people and them, they have no background, they have nothing good about them. You take out a good group of people and put in these hungry mouth people, and now we sit down crying and bawling. I just want to encourage Dr. Mitchell to just relax himself and take it easy. Don't go and fight and rush for nothing, because Grenadian people, they had it made up real nice. But they're so ungrateful and so unthankful. That's why we're balling today. Look at the condition with the medical field. We should have never been in that today. But because they want change. You don't know the man where he come from, who he belongs to, but they want change. Well, we get change now because they didn't ask what kind of change they had offer for us. So they get a change now. The change we get now, they don't like it. Anyway, you have a good night. Bye.
Thank you so very much, caller. Oh boy, yeah, you heard it from the caller herself, eh? Right. Folks, so as I said, I want to play this one for you. Yeah, I want to play this one for you quickly. And but before I get to that, though, let me just let you all know as well that the funeral for Miss Kim McSween. Yeah, and I know it have a lot of McSween in between the chat. I never know it has so much McSween in Grenada. Seen McSween all in between the chat, all kind of thing. Her funeral is tomorrow at the Gateway Assembly, and that starts from 1 p.m. So those of you that can make it and can head out there, head on out to that funeral. I'll try to make it myself at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Okay? So let me just, let me pull this one up. Let me just make sure it's here, it's ready, and let's go.
Now, Prime Minister, what have you done and other members of your administration who were CBI agents before the election to ensure to minimize notions of conflicts of interest? So in other words, as your law firm is registered as a CBI agent, so is Mr. Cornwall and Ms. Andrea St. Bernard. What are you doing to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest there?
Well, just to clarify, my law firm has never been a CBI agent. That's what.
Well, except on the website. Go ahead.
No, let me finish. I've been at pains to say that. I was a partner, not my firm, myself, was a partner in a separate business called Mitchell and Partners Inc., where I was the principal of that entity. Both as it relates to my law firm and that entity, I do not practice. Right? Okay. So that's clear. And I've made that clear. I do not work in my law firm, nor do I work in Mitchell and Partners. And so I certainly have nothing to do with this. In fact, I think I've made a point. I've been at pains to communicate to the CBI office repeatedly that obviously I'm not a practicing CBI agent. Similarly, I'm not a practicing attorney at law because I am unable to do so. And the same, I think, applies for Honorable Minister Cornwall, who holds a ministerial portfolio. So therefore, as a public servant, he can't practice privately. Ms. St. Bernard is an advisor to the government, but she's not a public servant in the same capacity as myself and Mr. Minister Cornwall. And so in those circumstances, her business continues. So what I can certainly say to you, that in my capacity as Prime Minister and former Minister of Finance, certainly if any applications were to come to Cabinet that in any way or form would have been coming from or emanating from, because the way CBI works is you can have applications that might have been started an entire year but would not reach Cabinet. We certainly have recused ourselves.
There is a due diligence process that,
Yeah, so we certainly would have recused ourselves from any decision as to whether or not to grant or not to grant approval in those circumstances. I can certainly say to you, in my time in Cabinet, there's only been one instance where I had to do so. And I believe there's been one instance where Minister Cornwall would have had to do so. And obviously, the minutes would have reflected that we would not have been part of the decision.
Now, folks, we have to understand something that he said there is patently untrue. Now, under the Integrity in Public Life Act, 2013, there's a schedule there. In other words, there's a list of people who are covered by the Integrity in Public Life Act. And there are certain things that under the Integrity in Public Life Act, people cannot do. What he's speaking about there, which is the reason he says he recused himself from Cabinet, when different things came up there in relation to CBI, that he recused. In other words, he excused himself. I can't be part of this discussion. I stand in some form or format to benefit according to the direction that this takes place, or I have a personal interest in what is coming before Cabinet, so therefore I have to step out. Yeah? So outside of that, the Integrity in Public Life Act covers certain areas. I spoke to Section 33 the last time of the Integrity in Public Life Act, which speaks of a blind trust. In other words, if you, as a government minister, have a business that is doing direct business with the government of Grenada, what you ought to do is place your shares into a blind trust. And for ease of reference to the Prime Minister, that is section 33, of the Integrity in Public Life Act. He could go and he could check section 33 of that, and he would be able. And I'm trying to pull up here the Integrity in Public Life Act for you, because I want you all to be able to see exactly what I'm speaking about when I'm speaking about things. I want you all to be able to see exactly what I'm saying. It's just giving a little problem here. But there is a list of people that the Integrity in Public Life Act covers, and I'm going to read it out for you. It says members of the commission. So members of the commission itself, right, are covered. They have to abide by the different rules of the Integrity Commission. Members of the House of Representatives. That means the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister and the other cabinet members, and even the opposition members who are in the House of Representatives. They have been voted in as MPs. Members of the Senate, all the members of the Senate, inclusive of the President, all the members of the Senate. President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives, parliamentary secretaries, secretary to the cabinet, right? They are all covered under this act. Permanent secretaries and deputy permanent secretaries, senior administrative officers, chief budget officer, accountant general and deputy accountant general, the attorney general, the clerk of parliament, the commissioner of police and the deputy commissioner of police, and all police officers, chief immigration officer, deputy chief immigration officer and all immigration officers, commissioner of prisons and all prison officers, comptroller of customs, deputy comptroller of customs and all customs officers, comptroller of inland revenue, deputy comptroller and all inland revenue officers, chief personnel officer, legal officers employed by the state, director of the FIU and all employees of the FIU, director of public prosecutions, director of audit, magistrates, let me get it here again, magistrates, labor commissioner, deputy labor commissioner and all labor commissioners, chief technical officers of ministries, members of the Public Service Commission, members of Public Service Board of Appeal, chairperson and deputy chairperson of statutory bodies. Let me read that one again. Chairperson and deputy chairperson of statutory bodies, chief executive officers and deputy chief executive officers by whatever name known of statutory bodies, members of the tenders board, and all public officers, including non-established officers receiving a salary in excess of $2,000 per month. As far as I am concerned, legally, Miss Andrea St. Bernard is paid by the state of Grenada, unless they have some sort of thing where she paid by some other thing and she ain't taking no salary, right? As far as we knew, she was hired as an advisor. That is the last thing we knew outside of the diplomatic appointment. We knew that she had been hired as an advisor. We also know that she's a member of the board of directors of both the Grenada Development Bank and Grenlec. Let me say it again. She's a member of the board of directors. I think she's actually chairperson of one of those. Not Grenlec, I think it's the GDB. Of the Grenada Development Bank, or at least she's a director there. The Grenada Development Bank and the Grenlec. So that's two statutory bodies. The Integrity in Public Life Act, and if they want, they can refer to in the schedule. In the schedule, because we just have to tell them, because sometimes apparently they doesn't know where to find certain things. So we just have to kind of, let them know, hey, look here, look there, that kind of thing. So right, in the schedule, it says clearly here, chairperson and deputy chairperson of statutory bodies. And I believe she's the chairperson. And one of my good friends, you all could send me a note to let me know if I'm correct to her being the chairperson of one of those boards and so on. All right? And all public officers, including non-established. How can you therefore say that she is not covered under this? I'm very interested in knowing that. But I see someone was trying to call on WhatsApp. Person, you can call back again. Give us a call back again. Nice? Yeah. But just again, I want you all to listen to the Prime Minister's response in relation to this particular issue. Let me pull it up again. Yeah, I just want you all, I know some of you all don't like to hear it, but I want you all to listen because one, even if he excuses himself from cabinet, if it is the company which he has already stated in this, listen carefully, stated that he is the principal of that company, even if he steps out and the company gets through, he's still making money off of it. Yeah? He was also the Minister of Finance up until quite recently, which means that the different companies in Grenada who have been marketing CBI out there and getting clients under CBI and have to filter them through an agent locally had to go to him to get concessions for the projects that they are doing here. So we are saying it does not smell right that he was the Minister of Finance and he also was the person that was providing concessions to companies under the CBI. He was also and still remains, as far as I'm concerned, a CBI agent because his company has not been struck off the list. I have not seen any gazetted report that Mitchell and Partners has been removed as a CBI company. If Mitchell and Partners make $3 million, we know that it is going towards the person we know as Deacon Mitchell because he is the principal, not the only person, but we know that he would be sharing out of that, right? That is a fact, right? We do not know if the company has been placed in a blind trust. We are asking if it has been placed in a blind trust, and if so, when has it been placed in a blind trust? But again, we want you all to listen carefully to what is being said.
Now, Prime Minister, what have you done and other members of your administration who were CBI agents before the election to ensure to minimize notions of conflicts of interest? So in other words, as your law firm is registered as a CBI agent, so is Mr. Cornwall and Ms. Andrea St. Bernard. What are you doing to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest there?
Well, just to clarify, my law firm has never been a CBI agent. That's what.
Well, except on the website. Go ahead.
No, let me finish. I've been at pains to say that. I was a partner, not my firm, myself, was a partner in a separate business called Mitchell and Partners, where I was the principal of that entity. Both as it relates to my law firm and that entity, I do not practice. Right? Okay. So that's clear. And I've made that clear. I do not work in my law firm, nor do I work in Mitchell and Partners. And so I certainly have nothing to do with this. In fact, I think I've made a point. I've been at pains to communicate to the CBI office repeatedly that obviously I'm not a practicing CBI agent. Similarly, I'm not a practicing attorney at law because I am unable to do so. And the same, I think, applies for Honorable Minister Cornwall, who holds a ministerial portfolio. So therefore, as a public servant, he can't practice privately. Ms. St. Bernard is an advisor to the government, but she's not a public servant in the same capacity as myself and Mr. Minister Cornwall. And so in those circumstances, her business continues. So what I can certainly say to you, that in my capacity as Prime Minister and former Minister of Finance, certainly if any applications were to come to Cabinet that in any way or form would have been coming from or emanating from, because the way CBI works is you can have applications that might have been started an entire year but would not reach Cabinet. We certainly have recused ourselves.
There is a due diligence process that,
yeah. So we certainly would have recused ourselves from any decision as to whether or not to grant approval in those circumstances. I can certainly say to you, in my time in Cabinet, there's only been one instance where I had to do so. And I believe there's been one instance where Minister Cornwall would have had to do so. And obviously the minutes would have reflected that we would not have been part of the decision.
Now, folks, I just wanted to show you something here because, again, it is clear here. I'm right here. Deputy Chairperson and Deputy Chairperson of statutory bodies, and also all public officers, including non-established. And we have to really try to understand if an advisor is on the non-established and if they can be considered, if they are to follow the rules of the public service. Or is he saying that once an individual is an advisor or once an individual is a diplomat operating under the government of Grenada, that person does not fall under the integrity? So that person could basically go out there and do anything they want, and then they do not fall under the ambit of the Integrity in Public Life Act? I'm very interested in understanding that. We have a caller online.
Hey, Sheldon.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Good program, my brother. I like the way you call these guys out. And you know what? When you do so, the other media, they came out and called him out also. Let me just say one thing. The Prime Minister knows that he's lying to defend that he's not a CBI agent. On Callister show a couple of weeks ago, the same question was asked to Tillman Thomas. And you know what his answer was? This is very concerning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the Prime Minister is caught red-handed. He knows that he's doing the wrong thing. Just apologize. But I think, just apologize and say, I'm sorry, I didn't know the rules, whatever you want, excuse you want to give. But he keeps just trying to make excuses.
My friend, it's really amazing. As the song says, it's amazing how people has changed. But it's amazing that people think that they can say these things and they can get away with it, that nobody will challenge it. It's amazing to me that they think nobody will challenge those statements. I still maintain, because here's another conflict of interest here. Mr. Richard Duncan is an advisor in the Ministry of Finance, yet still he's the chair of the same CBI, right? So he's an advisor in the Ministry of Finance, yet still he's the chairperson of the CBI. But when somebody under CBI wants to get a concession, they have to go to the same Ministry of Finance to which he's an advisor.
I mean, these guys are really corrupted. And members of the party and people who was criticizing the NNP back in the day is not saying anything. They remain dead silence. I mean, this is ridiculous.
My friend, this is just the tip of the iceberg with some of the things that we've been hearing. Some of the tip of the iceberg. Because imagine, you now have the present Minister of Finance, Mr. Dennis Cornwall. He is a CBI agent representing a regional company. I'm trying to remember the name of the company there right now. But he's a CBI agent representing that company. Right? He is as far as I know, he was the only person working for that company here. That company branch in Grenada, he was the only person. His home address is the home address of the company. The numbers to contact the company are his personal numbers. He is the person who is listed as the agent for the company here. You don't hear about anybody else like a secretary and staff and that sort of thing. Yeah? He is the one and all for that company in Grenada. So him recusing himself doesn't say anything, because he is still the beneficial person making the money out of it.
The trip to Dubai, did that trip paid by Range Development, the company in Dubai?
From what we're hearing, they are saying that it was paid for by Range. Now, again, we've asked for a list of all the travel that has taken place and who has paid for it and so on. And I'll share the answers in relation to that with you in a short while. I'll definitely share it with you. You'll be surprised.
Oh, my God. These guys are very, very corrupted. But my brother, just keep calling them out as usual. And it's working.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
And I'll say this, because let me see if I can find it here. So let me just transition over to this. So you're seeing here, Mitchell and Partners is still up. They're still up as one of the companies. There's St. John Street, and I don't know why the state of Grenada is paying for police officers to be there on a daily basis. I don't know why. But anyhow, so for that business place, as far as I know, it's a business place. It's not the law firm, the business place or whatever. But we're seeing police officers being stationed there. I don't know for what reason, right? And I'm hearing of them being stationed at another place too. But I'm not the kind of fellow who go down in that drain there right now. But hearing of security being placed at another location. And I want to know, Mr. Prime Minister, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, your advisor and them know what I'm talking about too. Is the state of Grenada paying or you paying? If you paying personally, me really care. Right? But if the state of Grenada is paying, we need to know. And we need to know why. Right? Because you have to assess your threat levels and so on. And nobody want to do you anything. I mean, nobody want to. Hey, come on, please. All right. So I'm looking here for that other company. Where is it? Where is it? So we have the one here by Miss Andrea St. Bernard. Yeah, Miss Andrea St. Bernard. That's here. And as far as I can remember, I believe it is supposed to be this company is the one, because what they've done is they've simply taken the names out. They've simply taken their names out from being under the company name. So that doesn't mean anything, because if the address of the company is still your home address or your PO box, and the numbers associated with it are still your personal numbers, then how does really and truly, who are they fooling? Yeah. And then the caller raised an issue there a short while ago, and I should have something in relation to that here. Let me just see if I can pull it up. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull this up here. And let me see if I could make this a bit larger. I think it's a bit small. Yeah, just want to make it a bit larger so you all can see it properly. Yeah, just wanted to make it a bit larger so you all can see it properly. And for some reason, it's not working along with me in relation to doing that. So let me see. I'll try it like this. Right. And we have a call online. Let me take the call first before I go forward. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay, man. Okay.
All right, go right ahead.
Brother Sheldon, NDC has a slogan, forward. Forward. I want to ask the question. Asking the question. Are we going forward when there is no medication in the general hospital? No medication in general hospital. Where the Minister of Health said the container is on the post, and the container is there, and we cannot open the container to get medication for the Greenland people who need the medication. Are we going forward again? When you travel through the country, both sides of the road, bush covering the road, vehicles afraid to park on the side because they don't know if there is a train. If they go say there is a train, are we going forward again? When the poor class of people who was getting the seed money of $350 and $450, you take it from them, you give them less. Are we going forward by sending home people, right, who was working? Are we going forward? But when you look at the policy of the government, doesn't that a slogan is used, but the slogan is the opposite to what they're doing presently, Brother Sheldon. Because look at the country from 2022 after the election. Look at the situation in Grenada now. Grenada, if people go to carry on Pismat, they're catching the hell right now. They're catching the hell because when you have single parents who was working, they are home. They had a mortgage to pay, children to send to school. They had to give them a proper lunch, a proper dinner, and it is hard and difficult for them because they don't work in. Are we going forward with the hardship and the difficult times greater people are going through under this administration? But the health care is in a mess. It's a mess. I just speak about the current God as the main one of the health places in Grenada. Right? We must have a backup system in case something happens. Right? But Sheldon, when you look at the situation in Grenada is worse off from 10 elections. No, it's zero worse off. I see some of them. I call upon Grenada. We have to know people. And not every time one come and sing a good song and a song, we should know the caliber of people and we know what they are doing and what they capable of doing. Because we know that NDC is a party that keeps people in poverty. And people that is a group of people that they don't care about people. And all what they want to do, when you see they jealous you and you're doing something good for the country and to benefit the people, it's jealousy and they will go all out to get rid of you. Just for them to achieve the goal, to bring the people backward. So that they don't definitely the agenda is to bring the Greenland backwards, but not forward. They only use a slogan backward. So I call upon the Greenland people, open your eyes and look at what is going on in the country. and speak about it. We cannot keep our short. We cannot keep our short because everyone want to have better living condition in the country. They have a family that take care of people. Right? So I call upon the government. Think about your decision making. Think about decision making. Because I always say to my producer, the person or the young man or young girl you're depriving could be your daughter-in-law or your son-in-law. Right? And when you hinder your young man and he to that to become your son-in-law and you behave in a way you like it, who calls it? You calls it. So just how you're interested in educating your children, you should also be interested to other neighbor could get the money, have a proper job to maintain the children, to get a proper education and a proper meal when time is for the during the day. Brother Sheldon,
all right, thank you. 440-7377, and for those of you who'd like to call on WhatsApp, you can use that number as well, 440-73. Yes, you can call 440-7377. You can call us on WhatsApp or directly using that number. And for those of you outside of Grenada, 347-329-3101 is the number for you to call. All right, yeah, and I'll say something here, and I do agree with you, Susan. The Prime Minister's firm needs to be removed as a CBI agent as long as the firm that he has been attached to is operating as a CBI agent. As long as that is so, there is the perception and the possibility for the conflict of interest. There's a perception of it, and there is a conflict of interest. The same goes for the Minister of Finance. You cannot be the Minister of Finance who, for instance, let's say Range, who is doing the hotels, and we're just using a possible scenario here, that Range, who is doing the hotels or so, goes to you as the Minister of Finance and says, we are seeking a concession, yeah, on, let's say, the building materials that we're bringing in to do a swimming pool. Or we are seeking a concession on specialist vehicles that we're bringing in to move on one end of the property to the other. Or we're seeking a concession on A, B, or C. And you as the Minister of Finance, who is also still a CBI agent, decides that yes, we can give you the concession or we can't give you the concession or so. With the possibility that range may also be sending business your direction. As in sending business direction of your company that you have as a local agent. That has to be wrong. So the company, Mitchell and Partners, needs to be struck off as a CBI company. Also, the company that is handled by Mr. Cornwall needs to be struck out. That company needs to be removed as a CBI company. And the company operated by Miss Andrea St. Bernard. Because let's say, hypothetically, that both the Prime Minister's company and Mr. Cornwall's company decide that, hey, we're not going to do it this way again. We're not going to be taking direct business as CBI agents. But you all can go to ASB. Yes, you all can go to Miss Andrea St. Bernard and have an arrangement with her. Her company, as long as she's carrying any public portfolio in the state of Grenada, her company needs to be struck off from the list as well. Yeah? Her company, because remember, she's out there as an envoy. In other words, Grenadian taxpayers are paying for her to go out there and find investors and so on, because that's what her portfolio entails. Apart from the advisor portfolio, apart from the position as director on boards and so on, she is also a diplomat on behalf of the state of Grenada. How much she's being paid to do that, we do not know. How much we have paid for her to travel, we do not know. But she can be using, and we'd like to know if she has been using, those opportunities, traveling to different fora, traveling to different locations for her own business as well. Has ASB been gaining business that me and you paying for her to go and get? That's what we need to know. Yeah? And this is nothing personal, you know. This is just stating what the facts in relation to these matters are. again, we had some questions that were asked in Parliament by the leader of His Majesty's opposition, and you can see them here. And question number 1 was, will the Minister of Finance provide the Honourable House with a list of the names of each delegation who travelled on behalf of the Government of Grenada from 23rd of June 2023 to the 31st of May 2023? And the response by the Minister of Finance, Mr. Cornwall, has been, this information is not available within the Ministry of Finance, as the Ministry of Finance is not responsible for the approval of travel across the government service. The Ministry of Finance will undertake to research this information, but cannot provide a defined time frame for the submission of the information. Question 2. Question 2 says, will the Minister of Finance inform this Honourable House of the total cost of each trip in the event that the total cost was not borne by the government? In some cases, can the Minister inform the House who paid for these trips? And it says here, the total cost of each trip is not readily available within the Ministry of Finance. That said, the Ministry of Finance can provide the total cost of travel paid out of the consolidated fund by month or year to date if requested. The details of official government travel paid outside of the consolidated fund is not available within the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance will undertake to research this information, but cannot provide a defined time frame for the submission of the information. And it is signed, best regards, by Honorable Dennis Cornwall, the Minister of Finance. Minister, you lie. You lie, you lie, you lie. And I'll explain why I'm saying that he's lying and he's not being forthcoming with the truth. Now, when it comes to finances within the government of Grenada, the entire structure uses something called Smart Stream. Smart Stream is what is used to track payments, bills, etc. within the government of Grenada. Now, if you're tracking, you want to find out across ministries, within, and it will only take you just a couple minutes to find out across ministries how much money has government spent on travel. All you have to do is enter the specific code in relation to international travel. There's a specific code for that, right? And under that, you'd be able to see, for instance, how much they got for per diem. Because when they're traveling on behalf of the state of Grenada, you have to give them spending money just for incidentals in case you get to your location late in the night and the kitchen is already closed, the restaurant is already closed, and you've been traveling for the entire day, that you can get something to eat outside of the facility where you are. All right? Or that you've got to leave so early in the morning that you couldn't pick up breakfast. You have to get breakfast at the airport or something like that. So you get your per diem to help you with those things. You miss your connect, your transport, and you have to pay for a taxi to get to your hotel or to get back to the airport or whatever it is, that you have enough cash to be able to cover that. So you get your per diem for those incidentals. All right? Outside of that, the price of the ticket itself, and if the state of Grenada is going to be paying for your hotel and your lodging and all of that, and your facilitate your ground travel in the other location, all of that is under Smart Stream, can be found out just by entering the code. So this is not a system that dates back to the 1980s, where somebody have to go into a ministry, pull out, I remember them big book they used to in the ministry, them book and them, they long as me. Them book and them big so. Yeah, with some hard cover. Nobody have to go back in there now and pull out these book and go through. And with a ruler and a pen and another piece of paper and take out and say, well, look, this money that's spent here and that money. No. Within literally maybe even seconds according to what you're looking for, you can get that information in a format that you can then present. So to say that the information is not available within the Ministry of Finance is a lie. Blatant. Yeah? Because Smart Stream is operated across all the ministries, but Ministry of Finance has access to Smart Stream, and there's a specific code for international travel. There's even another code for the local travel. Yeah? In other words, if you're going to Carriacou. And so, Because even in that case, you may have to get a per diem. And so I know back in my days previously, we didn't used to get a per diem. But the last NDC administration put in a per diem for when you're going to Carriacou and that sort of thing. So you have your per diem and your ticket and that sort of thing. So there are codes for these things that all they have to do is enter the code under Smart Stream. Well, maybe because it's Smart Stream, they can't use it because it starts with Smart. But anyway, Smart Stream. You just enter. Yes, Minister, you know what I'm talking about because I know you're listening to the program. And I know you have people within your ministry who religiously listen to this program. And all you know what Smart Stream is? And all you know the code. I ain't going to call the code out on air. I ain't that crazy. But all you know the code for international travel. And you all could just use that code across all the ministries and compile that information in no time flat. So don't tell the Grenadian people that you all cannot give that information and could not have given that information already. You all are trying your best not to say how much money you all spent on international travel. But remember, many of us out here understand how that system works. So you can't fool us. You cannot fool us. Oh, it seems as though I missed a call. Caller, you can call back. Yeah? You use Smart Stream, you enter your code, and for instance, other things have a specific code too. Yeah? Other areas that you have to pay, other areas that you need to ensure there's a bill there and you have to pay. And you know that there's a specific code there for all those things. So all you have to do is enter the specific code and get that information. Yeah? And you're also telling us that government is traveling in such a slap-bam manner. And let's take this call and then I'll get back to that. Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Sheldon.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm a concerned caller. First I'm calling it, but I listen to the program every night.
Thank you so very much.
Yes. Concerning the medication that they was talking about last night. Today I was listening to Mr. Pierre program because I listen to my program every day. And that caller, that man always calling to distract on the program. And he was saying that the medication on the post is expired medication. And then them went through the medication and the medication is expired. That is very bad, Sheldon. Same thing Cami said last night.
Cami and another caller said is that they're looking to do. Cami and another caller say exactly that.
Last night they're looking to say the medication go expire, and this man called on Mr. Pierre program today, and he was saying that how Andy and them, as far as he understand, Andy and them go through the medication and the put it expire. But I tell you, Sheldon, this NDC people and them sick in the head, you know. These people and them have no common sense, you know. They're looking to bring down NMP all about, but they still can't touch us because the house solid and the pillar is strong. And we're coming stronger, Sheldon. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right. Good night, my dear. So, yeah, there was a caller that said exactly that. That caller called and she said exactly what this caller is saying was said today. That caller called and she said, Sheldon, they're leaving the thing there because they want to come, and by the time they go say it expired. And it's always expired thing that come. Yeah, I know gloves and thing does expire, so I don't know why it would. Why is the container still there? Why are the stuff that has been sent to Compass Shipping? Compass Shipping, I don't think I ever spend more than half an hour inside Compass Shipping to find what I go for and get out from inside there. So it's definitely not Compass. Yeah, you could never say it's Compass. I don't know what other people experience. I've been there several times. Never spend more than half an hour in and out. One tap, just bim, bam, out. Yeah. You understand? So I'm pretty sure it's not there that are the problem. Yeah. But again, Cami said it, and the other caller said it. They said, be careful, that is what the people looking to do. So to hear that one of them called today and actually tried to pull that line, you understand? I was hoping that now. I was hoping now. They ain't gonna be so crazy, man, but Lord. Yeah. So I was telling you all in relation to the question. Yeah. It is not a difficult thing to get that information unless the government has been operating so helter-skelter and crazy that anybody just jump a plane and you go and say you're representing government, because we hearing people down in Panama right now with their boyfriend. That is what we hearing. Yeah? Is it being paid for by the government and people of Grenada? Are we paying for it? Is it being paid for by an international agency? If it's being paid for an international agency, under what criteria are both individuals going there, and what is the benefit to the state of Grenada? Yeah? Because if your people ain't seeing you in your constituency and you're always flying and all you're coming back with is good thoughts and ideas and pictures, yeah, if that's all you're coming back with, then something is definitely wrong. So, what is really taking place when it comes to travel? Why is government trying so hard to hide what is going on? Why are they trying so hard to hide? You all know very well how SmartStream operates. Everybody in that Ministry of Finance knows so. So you all know that I ain't lying. You all also know that when it comes to international travel, you all could tally up between all of the ministries. Are you saying that people have been jumping plane and you all don't keep records? Because, for instance, we realize that there has been an attempt by this government, take me to court, to hide members of delegations. The delegation that went out, for instance, to the Queen, to the King's coronation, we saw an official release that came out and neglected to mention several people we see jumping plane down to photographer. So did the state of Grenada, was that out of the Prime Minister's pocket that he paid for the photographer to go with him to the UK? For the Queen, I keep saying the Queen, but the King's coronation? Did he pay out of his own pocket for it? If he paid out of his own pocket, no problem of mine. That is all well and good. But let us know. Yeah? Because the delegation was much larger than they said. We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night, ASI.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm quite fine. You're live. Go right ahead.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The CBI program, is it a government initiative?
The CBI program is basically it's like a statutory body.
Okay.
You know, like how you have a statutory body, similar to that.
Yeah. Okay, you're selling up the passport. Is it Grenada passport is selling to people?
Yeah, what you're doing is you're selling citizenship. So the person becomes a citizenship, and part of that is the passport, but it is being done for a contribution towards they're paying a fee for it then.
But it involves passport, right?
Yes, they do get a passport, yeah.
Okay.
That's the main thing they're behind anyway. They want the passport to be able to travel to countries because they are from countries that their passport does not allow them to travel to.
So that money that is collected through this initiative, is it supposed to go to the consolidated fund?
I think there's a specific fund set up for it. I don't want to make a definite statement. I can't remember exactly how it is set up, but there's a specific fund in relation to that. Yeah. I am not sure if it is part of the consolidated fund or a standalone fund. That's why I don't want to make a specific statement off the top of my head.
But I don't understand this kind of business this guy is doing, because you're not saying anything about it, and it concerns Grenada, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is a rock belongs to us, Grenada, Carriacou, Martinique, and if they're doing any business involving Grenada, concerning Grenada, we're supposed to know about it as a government and people, because we didn't select them, we elected them. And so I don't understand what really going on. This guy is getting on as though this is a rock is dead, as though they bought it. And they have to do better than that. They have to come to the people and say what you're doing, what you're doing for the country, so the people have to be aware. And certain movements we have to make. We have to know what you're doing, so we could make our move. I mean, I don't understand what really going on with these guys. Trust me, I really don't know to understand. They feel they don't owe nobody nothing. They say information is a need to know basis. No, information is supposed to be information given to us as it comes, and we need to know it's supposed to come and tell us. And you know, I ain't seen that happening. So I'm calling on those responsible to really do something about this thing, because this guy is running this country as though that is the piece of rock. And this is still Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Have a good night, partner.
All right, thank you. 440-7377, that's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. So again, I'm saying here that I do not believe that Mr. Dennis Cornwall or Minister of Finance is being truthful with his responses here. Yeah? The information is readily available from within the Ministry of Finance, because you all have access to SmartStream. You all, at the end of the day, the money that goes through each and every ministry still comes out from the Ministry of Finance. So don't give the impression that a ministry doing their own thing over there and next one doing their own thing. If that is what is going on under you all, well, woe be unto us, because that's not what's supposed to be taking place. We have a call online. Good night.
Good night, Senator Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
Senator Scott, I'm good, buddy.
All
What
right.
I've been thinking about, could we get Mr. Bowen, you know, well, I don't want Dr. Mitchell coming in the fire with them things, because they're quick to say all kind of stupidness. But if we get Gregory Bowen, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, to come and explain this thing, because he was the finance minister, and he could tell us how this thing really works. Because I don't understand it. You're getting me confused. Because if you are the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, and then the Prime Minister is talking for the Minister of Finance, let the Minister of Finance come and talk for himself. Then I know right away you're lying. Talk for yourself. Say you know more part of this and explain the reason why, you know, and whatever you was doing, if it was wrong or right. But you're not doing that. Every word come out your mouth. Me and the Minister of Finance, you know, everything. I'm not in it, you know, and you know he's not in it too. What do you think you're fooling? Speak for yourself. That's how our parents teach us.
But what I'm saying...
Talk for yourself so long. Don't talk for me. What are you talking for he? Talk for yourself. When you was in Parliament, Mr. Prime Minister, and you had to talk about health, you stood quiet. When the Minister of Health was making all this error, you stood quiet. Hey, you are the Prime Minister. Anyhow, Sheldon, if you could get, you know, the former Finance Minister to come and explain this thing to the Grenadian people, we in the diaspora, we're trying to understand this thing because that cannot happen here in Canada. You're crazy? What? Well, I don't know what's going on in Grenada. You're crazy? They don't send something to put you away already. You're mad? Anyhow, buddy.
My brother.
Continue. Yeah.
All right, bro.
All right then.
It's very interesting. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and I'm telling you, to simply just pull your name off of the CBI, and again, I'll show you all. As I said, you have the. Let me just remove this here. Right. So this is the CBI website. And it tells you how to apply, and the CBI committee, who are the members of the committee, how to apply here. You can check the marketing agents and the local agents. When you check the local agents, this company, try, you see this number here? Who do you think that number belongs to? Yeah? Who do you think that this number belongs to? I ain't calling out number on air just so, because after all, you'll ask that afraid all you. But who do you think that number belongs to? So even though you take out your name here, but the mailing address is still your house. Is still your house. Your personal mailing address where you just get your mail is still the mailing. Yeah, still the mailing address of that company. The numbers that are there are still attached to you. Then who you fooling? Who are you fooling? Yeah? And then outside of the CBI, when you ask your questions about the travel, because for instance, we would like to know if there's a minister in Panama right now who paying, because that minister more on plane than they are in their constituency. I am pretty sure they've spent more time on flights and international travel than they have spent in the constituency office since winning St. John's. If you're afraid to say, well, since winning St. John's. And what do the people of St. John, who are celebrating Fisherman's birthday tomorrow, and let me say a special early congratulations to you, the people of St. John. We know that is your thing. Yeah? Fisherman's birthday. So we're saying an early Fisherman's birthday greetings to you all. Yeah? Your MP has spent more time traveling than they have spent in their constituency office. What, after 1 year, what do the people of St. John have to point to and say, this has been an achievement of the present administration? Yeah? We ain't talking about what going on with the playing field and them. I ain't getting into that argument tonight again. Yeah, with them playing field, Papa, you, me. But what do they have to point to? But yet your minister always on a plane. Always on a plane. And then when we ask now, well, we want a list, we want to know, maybe we have to ask it by minister. But then you go find out now that you have people like Miss Andrea St. Bernard, that diplomats, that the state of Grenada most likely paying for their tickets to go wherever they're going. And so I'm sure they're pulling that money out their own pocket to go all over the world. And then when you're asking now for this information that is easily available via smart stream. Again, because some people might still think, they might see this and they might think, well, okay, it's like in 1988 and 1989, when if you have to answer a question like this, you have to get 3 public servants and put them into a room, and they have to go with them, big set of book, and they have to go through, and they have to check, and then they have to call a travel agency, and somebody have to walk over there, or somebody have to take a vehicle and go over there to collect some documents to come back and see what they have in the filing cabinet. No. You press 3 buttons and you go online, and you press another 3 buttons and you go on Smart Stream and you pull up all that information. So, Mr. Minister of Finance, stop trying to mislead the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit. Yes, it's an obvious attempt to mislead. I'm calling it for what it is. It is a fair comment. It is an attempt to mislead the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique to believe that you can't get that information in relation to the travel. And if indeed it takes you can't say how long it's going to take, because remember, Parliament might prorogue. When I say prorogue, it does go on like holidays, right? And that might happen anytime in August or so. And then the question dies and had to be resubmitted. If I remember my parliamentary procedure correctly, that question will die. In other words, it hasn't been answered, dies the end of that question, and has to be asked again in the next sitting when Parliament reopen. After you have the state opening of Parliament and you have the House, right, all of that. After that's immediately, and so then you have to come back and ask the question again, right? So then it might be quite towards the end of the year is when you might hear, and by that time you know how much travel take place in between there again. So again, it ought not to take more than a day or 2 to put this information together. If they can't, it means there's a certain level of incompetence taking place there. So you will tell me that the finance officer within a ministry, and I tend to agree with what one of my listeners is saying here. They message me on the WhatsApp. They say, well, maybe they didn't write it down because they don't want it on record. Because I mentioned one to you, just that trip that took place to the coronation of King Charles. You saw a release that named some people. And then you had a pile of other people, some people who didn't even leave from Grenada. They came from other countries to join the delegation. Yeah? And then you wasn't told that a cameraman leaving Grenada to go up. You wasn't told that a personal secretary, they're carrying the secretary with them. You wasn't told those kind of things. But these people went. And of course, room and board and food and transport had to be provided for them, and per diem, etc. So maybe that is why they don't want to answer. Let's know. In fact, I want to know the cost of that particular trip. Yeah? A similar question was asked during the period of the new National Party. Yeah? And that question was answered. And all of the information, who was on the trip, where they went, who paid for it, how much it cost, all of that. Yeah? In fact, it was so comprehensive, they even say who went to Carriacou and how much was paid for them to go to Carriacou and everything. Even though they had asked for travel in general, international travel, they included Carriacou and Petit Martinique because monies were being spent, and there is a special code for that as well. But these individuals are saying they don't know when they could answer that question. Come on, seriously. Really and truly. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah? Nice. Mm-hmm.
house is open. You don't need no passage. Just walk.
And folks, last night I said something, and I want you all to hook on to that. Make sure that we keep our eyes on the electoral office and the electoral process. Don't only become interested in what is taking place there when you start to sense that an election is coming, and you hear that t-shirts arrive, and you see posters start to go up on poles and all kind of thing all over. Don't only become interested then. At that point in time, it might be too late. Yeah? I've been through election processes before where on election day is when a candidate realized that they had 30-something people that was running up and down behind them, but that person, those people, couldn't vote because they were not registered. They on the bus, they go in rally. They go in rally, all kind of thing, you know. They go in rally, they go in village meeting, they all over there, they beating drum, they have on t-shirt, all kind of thing, they waving flag. And when came time to vote on election day, the name wasn't on the list. That candidate lost, you know. That candidate, well, obviously, because you're minding your business, so somebody else mind it for you. So that candidate lost. So you have to be so very careful on monitoring the process itself. We all have to be the watchmen and watchwomen of the process. We have to ensure that we make sure, first of all, that we are registered. And that we don't see strange things like you're supposed to be in one part, one polling division, and you end up in the next one. You have to take 2 buses to go and vote election morning. We have a caller online. Good night.
Sheldon.
Hi.
Same thing happened last night. They get cut off, and same thing happened tonight again.
On Facebook.
Yes. Just on your face, there's something circling. Same thing happened last night. He cut off and he just cut off again.
If it's just in your instance, I think it's the internet might be the problem because we're still on. Yeah. In fact, I still seeing the numbers constantly going up. So we're on. It may be you may need to restart. That you may need to close it down and start up again. Or check us on YouTube.
Alright then, okay.
Look for us on YouTube and you should be okay on YouTube. Because I think that's probably Facebook you're having that problem with.
Yeah.
Let my little friend put it on YouTube for you.
Okay then.
Yeah, you should be okay there. Alright, my brother.
Okay, man.
Alright, bless. Yeah, so I think that might be that individual's internet itself. I've been realizing that I don't know if they're changing over or something, but I'm seeing some things taking place with the internet over the last couple of days. Yeah. So again, first thing is we have to make sure that we are registered and we are in the correct polling division. Many people just look and they see the name and they're gone. No. In one particular country, I saw something happen. Because I look at elections in different countries. And some people were taken out of one polling division. So if you check the list and you're only focusing on whether your name is there, they checked the list and their name was there. But the polling division was wrong. Yeah, and this person is saying that Facebook has cut off. I'm not seeing that error on my end. It is up and running on my end. Oh. Yeah, I'm seeing something here. Yes, Facebook has cut off again. Yeah. And you know what? It's happened the same time it happened last night again. Yeah. It's happened the exact same time it happened last night again. And it's not on our end. That's Facebook itself. Because I'm seeing it on my software here. I can see that it's happened. So let's hope YouTube doesn't follow suit. But Facebook is off again. Exactly the same time, 9:30. Again, it has cut off. Facebook seems to have a problem. Yeah, Facebook seems to have a problem. So, as I said last night, look for us on YouTube if you're having a problem with Facebook. All right? So, yeah, the good thing is that most of the listeners and viewers does be on YouTube anyway, you know. And some people comparing, they must go on YouTube. So yes, I was saying that I've seen a situation in one particular country, one regional territory, where the people were checking the voters list and yeah, my name there, I could vote. Then election morning, they went to the polling station they know they usually go to. When they went there, the name not there. Not one or two, we're talking about a little 20 here, a little 30 there. And when you count all of that up, that might come up to 300. And out of that 300, if 150 decide that they're not voting on election day because you're supposed to be voting in Springs St. George for the South St. George, so the bottom side of the road, let's say you're in that polling division, and your name is supposed to be there, but your name suddenly appear in Caliste. So when you check the voters list for South St. George, you see your name on the list. It's there. So you see your name on the list, so you know, okay, I am registered to vote. Then, when you go to vote election day in your normal location in Springs, probably at the Springs government school there, or the pre-primary or whatever, you realize, but wait, I can't vote here. So you check, you double check, and you find out my name is in Caliste. So you need to make sure not just that your name is on the list, but it's in the correct location. I think we have we lost that caller. Yeah. So folks, those of you that are having the problem, well, the thing is, if you're on Facebook and you're having that problem, you won't be able to oh boy, you won't be able to come and say that you won't be able to see what I'm saying now anyway. So folks, just let those who are listening know. Let those who are listening know that they can come on to YouTube. Maybe we need to just do the program on YouTube alone and done. Yes, so that they can come on to YouTube, because there is that problem. Not locally. That looks like an international problem, because when Facebook went down last night, it did not go down just in Grenada. Worldwide had that problem. So Facebook seems to have a problem. It went off 9:30 last night. It went off again 9:30 tonight. Yeah, so let's hope they get their act together. Right, folks? So remember, you're checking for your name, but you're also checking for your polling division. You're making sure you know where it is you have to vote election day. Know it from now. Don't wait until election time. Know where you are going to vote on election day. Know from now. So that when the time comes and you double check, you don't find no funny business taking place. Yeah? Those of you who are living in the constituencies, yeah, Facebook is down totally. It's offline. Those of you who are living in the constituencies, for instance, like St. David, yeah, take a good look at the voters list after the houses are distributed, eh? Yeah, you wondering what I mean by that? No, seriously. After the houses are distributed within that 1 year, I want you all to pay particularly close attention to the voters list. Remember the rules. You have to be living in a location at least 1 year before your vote is transferred from wherever you are to where you now reside. Eh? Okay? So keep a close look and make sure all the new people that appearing on the list after that 1 year, that those are people who ought to be appearing on the list. Right? So places like there, places like in Dumfries and Garraku, places like Redmond and the Villa, right? Pay particular attention to your voters list in the 1 year after those houses are distributed, to make sure only the people are not 100 or 50 people come that eligible to vote and had to transfer the vote, and you see the voters list increase by 200 and you're wondering how these other, and they say, well, I'm living up there, and when you check, they don't, yeah, double check. Yeah, we mashing it up from now. We are waiting until when it happens to come and expose it and say, mash that up, because you could be the most popular candidate and lose if you do not do your political work from now. So let us do the political work that has to be done from now. All right? Do the political work that has to be done from now. Monitor the voters list and monitor what is taking place in the Parliamentary Electoral Office too, you know. Because changes taking place there too. You're hearing the registration officers changing and all kind of simidimi again taking place. Keep an eye on that. Don't just let that pass just so. Keep an eye on that. You want to know who is the registration officer If you find that registration officer has been involved or is being involved in political activity and so on, you need to report it. If you find people who ought not to be registered in a constituency are being registered, remember, if a snap election is called, you may not have enough time. You may not have enough time to have those people removed from a voters list. The case might be heard after an election. Right? So in instances like that, you have to always make sure that you're vigilant and you're doing the work. And I see some of you, Crystal, I realize, yeah, you all are over on the YouTube now. And yeah, Facebook has again crashed. It is not our fault. And my good friend, the first man that called me and tell me one time, because I was watching it and it didn't reach to me yet. But right after he tell me, I get it. Yeah? So I think maybe Facebook can't take talking points. We had to talk to Mark Zuckerberg. Baby, he can't take talking points. All right? But folks, you can call 440-7377. We still have roughly a half hour remaining. So 440-7377. Give us a call. Nice. Yeah, let me just touch this one while I sort out one issue here.
The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid and the pillars strong. Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around. 95 we rule this country. The new national party. Dr. Kit administration show plenty progress in my land. Opportunity for the young people. The money program and skills training too. We taking Grenada to a higher level. Concession farmers getting people between me and you. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop it. National.
Yeah, I've been trying to restart that there, but it's just off. So we'll just have to leave the Facebook out of it for now. For folks, those of you that might be joining us for the first time on the YouTube, remember to subscribe. So there's a subscribe button there. Remember to click on subscribe right at the bottom portion there. Yeah, you just click and subscribe. So every time we go live, you will have the opportunity to be able to view. Yeah, and in case anything like this happens, once you go over onto YouTube, one of the first things you'll see at the top there is talking points. You don't have to go and look for it. Yeah, so once you subscribe, it will always push that to you. So you'll always see us at the top, and you just click and you're good to go. All right, so 440-7377. So folks, remember, contact your constituency leads. Get involved in the process. Help with the canvassing of the list. Yeah, I have to say, if the list had been canvassed properly, this last election, you would have had different results in different areas. The list was not canvassed properly by some of us who had the job to do out there. We did not do our job properly. Some of us, you didn't go and check people, you just assume that so and so going to go this direction or go that direction. You just assume. You didn't speak to them. Yeah? So you sent in faulty information. Where if you had spoken to that individual, someone may have known that individual has an issue, they have a problem, and then somebody could have spoken to them. So we did not do a proper canvass. It's a straight case. It's not no if, what about it. We did not do a proper canvass list. In many instances, there were one or two that did good jobs, but we did not generally do a good one. Yeah? And that is why in the reorganization that's taking place right now, all of us need to come together, recognize what our faults are and were, and the way forward. Not dwell on them and say, well, oh gosh, well, this one do that and that one do the other and think. No. We recognize what it is the problems were, and we work towards solving and resolving. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello, good night.
Good night.
Hi, good night, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Sharon, I want to know when we getting our sanitizer money.
When you're getting your...
I want to know that because I need it. Me sanitizer money, what the government has to pay us.
Oh, the sanitizers, for those of you who are working under the Faith program.
Yes, I need me money. I want it bad because I have my children to send to school. Because
Yeah.
school closed now and I have one in college.
Well, what I could tell you is this. I know that there has been a legal challenge to the government because the government has bluntly said they refuse to pay. But there is a legal challenge that has been made by the Faith Program to the government of Grenada. I don't want to get into the details this late in tonight's program, but I do have the details in relation to it in my head. But I don't want to get into it this late in tonight's program. Tomorrow I'll go a little in depth and say what is taking place there. But there is a case before the courts in relation to it.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right, my dear.
We there on foot.
Hey?
Stay tight. We there on foot.
Okay, my dear. All right, stay blessed. 440-7377. Yeah, and one of the people who was under the Faith Program. Yeah? And you know what's going to end up happening here? Government is going to be found to be wrong. There's no other outcome that's going to come from this. I'm telling you how the case go finish. Eh? They go find that government wrong. Government go end up having to pay the people under faith, and they go end up having to pay them interest. So if they had to pay them X amount, they go have to pay interest between when they fail to pay and that point in time. And that interest is building on a daily basis. These are people that went out and did a job. These are people that went out and work. These are people that went out and did the job that was required of them at a point in time that many of us would not have gone and did the job that they were doing. Who wanted to go and do sanitizing when they had COVID around and everybody afraid? People seeing loads of refrigerator truckload of people in the States and so on. Everybody afraid. And you had people that went forward and did the sanitizing job. Yeah, did the security job, coming in contact with people and so on. At a point in time where people didn't even want, if they hear you sneeze, they're running for their life. But you had people that went out and did the job when it was needed of them. And then this present administration refuses to pay them. Refuses to honor the contract, refuses to pay them. From nothing else but wickedness and bad mind. They have no grounds for not paying the people. They're just wicked and they bad mind. And then they're trying to play politics with it by trying to tell them, go to ex-minister so and so. All it damn fast, rude and out of place. So you all are the ones that owe the people to pay them so that they can pay the workers. That is how it goes. You all pay the people pay the workers. Yeah, it's just like you all giving the money to a third party to pay the workers. That's all you all doing. And you all refuse to give the money to pay the workers and then telling the workers to cuss and to hate the people who have to pay them with the money that you have to pay them. Yeah? That's what's going on with this thing. I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a matter before the courts, but I will say that I could tell you from tonight that the government of Grenada will lose. The government of Grenada will have to pay damages. They will have to pay the lawyers on behalf of that company, and they will still come back and have to pay interest for every single day that they have held that payment away from these people. So if these people are owed one amount of money, they're going to have to pay them much more than that because they're going to end up having to pay interest. Watch and see. Watch and see. It's going to happen. Yeah? And they're going to win, And after the Faith Program win, you know what the government going to do? They're going to appeal to try and stretch it out longer and let the money build up instead of just paying the people and get it over with. The same way you thought now that, look, what was done to teachers and so on, in your mind, you believe, okay, that was wrong, you came in and you paid them. What if faith people do you? This is people working for a little small money doing certain jobs, and so what did they ever do to you? Why are you so full of hate towards these individuals? Why is the NDC administration so full of hate towards so much categories of people in this country? Yeah? I don't know, seriously, I can't understand how you could go and see all your lighting candle and praying, Because that, as far as I'm concerned, is candle blight. When all you go out there and all you light candle because all your heart ain't right with the Lord. Because had it been, you all would not have done what has been done to those workers under the faith program. You'd have ensured that the monies that they had to get, that they got it. If you want to argue about all the different aspects of it afterwards, you had to do that. But why are you trying to suffer those people and trying to malign the name of others? Just pay the people. That's all you had to do. And you can't say that you don't have the funds to pay. Don't give that excuse. Do not give that excuse. Yeah? Because up to something I was looking at yesterday, they were admitting that they found a lot of money inside there. And remember, it's the same prime minister that said Grenadians want a lot of money. Yeah? So don't give that impression that, oh, some big set of corruption take place and this kind of, and you're not good to pay, and you ain't paying and that kind of thing. Come on, man. It's Grenadians you're dealing with. The last caller, they said it clearly. They have children graduating and so on, children in school. They need it. They need it. Yeah? And I think, Christine, you're asking what site to find that list. I'm going to make sure that I get that information to you directly. All right, my dear? I'm going to get that information to you directly. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number to call and get onto the inside.
I could remember them brag they go do better. With propaganda, they lie and fool my brother. And now my sister can't pay bill for water. Something truly wrong right now in Grenada. Because all the power they was fighting, now they get it, can do nothing. Mr. Tillman, Glenn and Nazin. Things ain't happening all over the country. People saying only lies they hearing. Some don't know from where the next meal coming. Things ain't happening. Some walking to no pay they getting. Only lies they hearing. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. We tired with the lying. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Grenadians still suffering.
Yeah, just double checking some information there. And so, folks, remember the funeral of Kim McSween is taking place 1 p.m. tomorrow. That's at the Gateway Assembly down there in the south of the island. And the viewing, that's the viewing and ceremony, the going away ceremony for Mrs. Marie Oliver. That'll be taking place on Monday coming. And that will be at the Hebron Evangelical Church, 741 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11236. And that will be taking place. The viewing is between 4 and 5 p.m. and the service between 5 and 6 p.m. Brother Nimrod Olivier. Yes, man.
Only lies he hearing. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. We tired with the lying. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Grenadians still suffering.
I'm hearing that talk about the seed program having been introduced to Carriacou, and they're looking at that as an achievement. I think it says something about the social situation in Carriacou if they're introducing seed to Carriacou. Carriacou has never, as far as I know, been a place where you necessarily need seed. Yeah, you assist people different ways and so on. But seed in Carriacou, and that's an achievement. Okay.
People saying only lies they hearing.
Let me see what I could find out in relation to that.
Things ain't happening. Some walking to no pay they getting.
Okay, and the list of people that I called out last night for Carriacou that are now unemployed, and so I have a longer list, yeah.
We tired with the lying. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Grenadians still suffering.
Into the final few moments of tonight's program. Yeah, no, yeah, that one came off and it's sort of, it tripped. You know, you just make sure this one is still working here. Nice, yeah. So, folks, again, remember to continue checking the voters list. Continue making sure that your name is there. And don't check for your name alone. You have children, they are voting age. Make sure their name is there. Make sure that two all can be in the same household. And you voting in Springs and the next person had to vote in Calais. So, and they are living in the same household. Something had to be wrong there. Make sure you're in the correct polling. I know I'm saying that, you know. Because election day, you could win or lose a seat by just a few votes. And if you find that kind of disruption taking place on election morning, yeah, it could cause a candidate who ought to have won to lose a seat. Yeah? Because if you're living in Springs and you take the time off and say go in and vote and so, you ain't bothering to go and try to get a bus to go down in Paddock to get a next bus to go down in Calais, then to have to go down and walk down by the school to go and vote and that kind of thing. You ain't going through all of that. Most times people say, well, look, I have to go to work and they're going to them bother with that. Yeah? Even though legally you have a right to take whatever time you need to vote and they can't fire you for that. But still, some people just, but I ain't going through that headache and thing and I don't stand up here all this long because they didn't go and check to see if the name there first. I stand up here for the last hour and a half and now I end up in this situation that, no, I ain't going through all of that. So it have situations where people will not go through that. So you need to constantly make sure that not just your name, but the names of other supporters are on the list. And also, you need to ensure that they report the names of the people who have died. Yeah? Because you don't want one of those names end up voting election day, you know, kind of thing does happen. So those names of people that have died, if you are operating properly within your constituency, you would ensure that you inform the parliamentary, I think there's a specific form for that, inform the parliamentary electoral office, person so and so has died and so, and they can verify and then have that person struck from the list. Yeah? So you don't want when election time come up, you realize all these people have died, how much years ago, and look, they're still on the list and so. As has happened before, because political parties have not done the work until when an election call is looking to run and check the list. Check it from now. Make sure it's okay. Keep your eye on the electoral office. We're hearing the Prime Minister speaking about they want to make changes to this, they want to make changes to that. I heard him speaking about the possibility of people overseas being allowed to register overseas and vote overseas, and he said it's not an easy thing to do, it's difficult and all that kind of thing. I could understand that. But remember, there's the same man that one time was saying that he buying a plane, then he changed his mind. There's the same man that was saying that he was selling Grenlec, and next thing we know, the story changed. Yeah? Was within 6 to 12 months, we're going to find a buyer for Grenlec, and then right after that, yeah, the story changed. Yeah? So we have to be careful, we have to be vigilant, we have to ensure that we keep on listening and following everything that's going on. Yeah? We have to be very careful in each and every constituency. You have to be on guard. You can't be seeing funny names appearing on a voters list in your constituency and you're only waiting until election to go and file a petition to have those names removed. No. All now petitions supposed to be going out. That person don't live in here 4 years now. How the name's still on the list there? Yeah? So that those names should be removed. So do what has to be done now at the political level. So that when that time comes, you don't have to be running around. And so remember, the ball is only in your court if you take it and bring it in. Right now is the other side to call the date. So do the political work that needs to be done. All right? And as we come to the end of the program, I'm also reminding this administration, please, when it comes to the generator, there's a serious matter here. If you have children that are in the, on the ward there, and they're using ventilators, or you have them inside the thing for when they have, we call jaundice, and so it's incubators and so, yeah. You can't have electricity shutting down in the general hospital and there's no backup generator working. You can't have that happening. You cannot have a situation because it happened today. So don't try and lie and say it don't happen or it was happening before. Yeah? You can't have a situation where there could be a surgery taking place and you have the person hooked up to different things to check the heart rate and the brain wave, whatever and whatever and whatever, and then electricity goes and there is not a backup system to keep the operating room running. Because from what I hear, the generator went down and that was it for electricity on the ward and different parts of the hospital today. You cannot have that happening. You have to ensure that what needs to be done is done and done in a timely manner. The medication that's sitting on the port of St. George and Compass Shipping, if you know you can't get it, you know you don't have the wherewithal, the ability, the capability, the competency to go and get it, yeah, you don't have to come to us and cry, just come to us man to man and say, hey, Shallan, we need all your help. We need Talking Points help to go and get the container out. We need Talking Points help. Listen, Talking Points big, we have there's a lot of us, If all they want a truck to come and pull it out, we could get off all it too, Yeah. So what? Just talk to us now. Don't be thinking. And folks, remember the donation. Remember, wow, so about 2 or 3 people are saying that they're having a problem with the audio as well. So I wonder if YouTube is probably having, I think YouTube is probably having a problem as well now. Yeah? Somebody is saying, I didn't realize it changed to PNM. Seeing PNM tonight. Yes, PNM. All right, my friends. Right. So, folks, remember in everything you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. Love each and every one of you. We'll be back tomorrow night. Hopefully, the Facebook will be able to stay with us for the entire night tomorrow night. I don't know what is going on with the audio there. I'm seeing 1 or 2 people speaking about the audio. So I'll take it now, see if I can fix what I had to fix now and head out. Okay, I have to run out. So let me do that right now. Folks, it's been wonderful being here with you. We will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, God's willing, from 8 p.m. And we have a lot to talk about. We have some things that I have in my possession and I think I need to put up on the screen and play and them kind of thing. Sometimes wrong envelope does drop. Sometimes wrong envelope does call and identify itself. As I said, folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. I am out.
What is the extra coming there? You know who they're voting for. You have a kind of chorus that was singing. Let me hear.
Vote for the house this election. Vote for the house. Vote for the house, no confusion. Jam that taxi, shoot that taxi, stick that taxi, hold that taxi. A house that go stand up strong. A house that ain't falling down.